You are entering the bonus stage, a podcast produced in association with oceanofbees.com, with your host Marauder
and Phoenix923,
a podcast for all gamers,
console and PC alike.
Welcome to Bonus Stage.
Hello and welcome to Bonus Stage, a podcast produced in association with oceanofbees.com. As always, I'm your host Marauder.
And I'm Phoenix923.
And we are recording this on November 16th, 2013. We got a lot to talk about, but of course we're going to start out with what we usually start out with when we get these things going, is what is new on oceanofbees.com. So heading over there, there's probably a whole hell of a lot of new stuff. Yes, when was the last time we did this? Actually, I can look, because...
a while ago.
Yeah, the reason for that being, of course, my computer had a virus or some kind of weird malware attack, and I just got everything back in working order. Anyway, heading over to oceanofbees.com, reading from the top down, we have, in the video section, the Inspector Online Team Fortress 2 Episode 17, where, of course, the Inspector attempts to have a polite conversation while playing an MMO first-person shooter, and all of the corresponding things that happen are thereby recorded. Always fun. Always good fun.
Hilarity does ensue.
Indeed. The next video is Josh Plays Adventures of Tom Sawyer and Grand Theft Auto V... 5... where Josh DeFeo compares and contrasts two vastly different games and tells us which one comes out on top. So another completely random, off-the-cuff video from him. Good fun. I actually did watch that. That was pretty good. Looks like that's it for the videos. Not too much activity there. And no new blogs as of yet. I have seen a couple movies recently, but I have not had time to sit down and write anything about them. So, hopefully I'll do that before they hit DVD. Alright, so moving on. That's everything that is new on oceanofbees.com. So, we're going to go to our next segment, which is our topics and discussion segment, of course. And this is something that happened recently, probably no more than 3 days ago. And it's just something that I think we both wanted to talk about. Mm-hmm. But Blockbuster Video, as a corporation company, is officially gone. They shut down. They're no longer in existence. Now, I did read that Dish Network will still use the brand name for marketing purposes and their streaming services and all that stuff that they do. But Blockbuster, as we used to know it, as it was, is now gone. They're closing all their brick and mortar stores, and shutting themselves down. Which really got me thinking about all the great times I had as a kid. Well, actually, up until they closed the one in Standale, because I used to still wander in there from time to time and buy some stuff. But I just thought we'd sit and kind of share some memories of the place. God, this is going to be like a funeral.
Any last words you would like to say for the departed?
Before we bury it under 6 feet of dirt. Anyway, no, but Blockbuster Video, there's one very close to my house, and actually as a kid, we used to, as a family, bike down there on the weekends, pick up a movie or a game, and take it for the weekend. And that's where I really started to watch a lot of movies. I mean, every weekend. And that was where I got to rent all the Indiana Jones movies and Star Wars. I remember begging every weekend to rent a Star Wars movie. Because you couldn't buy them at the time. This was like 90... just before the special editions came out on VHS, but you could, that was the only place I could get them. So I'd constantly rent the same copy over and over and over again. And just got sucked into that movie. But yeah, it was just such a fun thing to do. You buy your big chunky tape and take it home and get some popcorn, and just a good way to unwind at the end of a week. I still do that. I still grab a movie off my shelf or something on a Friday. Or, I guess, Monday now. But, at least once a week and just sit and watch something. I don't know.
My experience with Blockbuster was more on the gaming side. Me and my family.
Oh, there was plenty of gaming going on over here too, but we'll get into that.
Yeah. Nah, it's just mostly my experience, because since I'm not that much of a movie guy, I never rented. Actually, I don't think I ever rented a movie from there.
Well, your parents would rent you, oh, this one's for the kids.
No, actually, we never rented movies. It was just for the games.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it was every other week we would go there, and me and my two brothers would choose our own game, and then that's what we played for that week. We didn't have, that big of a, let's see, I think it was around Super Nintendo at that time, right?
Yeah. What year?
I don't know. It was just mostly
early 90s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we would all pick our own game, and then we would just, play that for the week. And that was where I got introduced to quite a few of my favorites, including my all-time favorite RPG, Earthbound.
Gotta shove that in my face every chance you get on here, don't you?
Every time, because I own it and you don't. But yeah, that was just kind of a little family thing we did every other week. It was something that I definitely look forward to, because it was just a new game that we could play, or if it was some other, if I felt like playing something else, then, I get something different. Just wondering, did you ever mark your cartridges to let you know which save file was on them?
I did that one time with Zelda Ocarina of Time on the 64. I actually did mark it, but I did it. I took a silver Sharpie, and I marked inside the cartridge where the circuit board is.
Yeah. No, I marked at the very bottom, just a little dot of a black Sharpie where no one would really notice. Just so that I could keep my save files, because it was kind of annoying going back there the second week just to find out that I didn't choose the right game. But,
trying to find that copy of Earthbound that you...
Yeah, trying to find that copy with my save file on it, and even if I did, hope to God that it wasn't erased from, the last week.
Yep.
But no, that was, going there, it was, just something until they started getting ridiculously pricey.
Yeah, last couple of years. But anyway, getting back to the game portion anyway. My mom actually signed up to be a secret shopper back when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So she would be tasked with going to various businesses and rating them and whatever, and reporting back to this company that would, at cleanliness of the store, organization, things like that. But we used to go to Walmart, Family Fare, and the best one she always picked was Blockbuster.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd go in there, so I rented games all the time, and we would shop multiple Blockbusters sometimes. So I remember one weekend we were returning movies, and I accidentally dropped the wrong movies in the wrong store slot.
Oh, yeah.
Because she's like, okay, jump out and put them in the slot before, because this is back when they had drop boxes on the outside wall and the store was closed. So I just threw them in there and get to the other one, and she goes, wait a minute. That's not the ones we had. And it was this huge mess. But no, it was great because you had to rent stuff. That was part of what they required of my mom to do. So I got to rent a lot of games. But the problem is I'm an idiot kid. So I'm renting, just anything that looks interesting to me. Two that stick out that I used to rent a lot, and I cannot imagine why. One was Gun Force on the Super Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
And you remember Gun Force.
Mm-hmm.
Because that game is horrible.
Yeah.
But as a kid, I just thought it was so awesome. It was this Contra-like shooter game, and it was so slow. The frame rate was atrocious, but I could beat it.
Wasn't it only slow if you played it in 2-player?
No, it slowed down in single player too, but not as badly. In 2-player, it was worse.
Yeah. When we played it in 2-player, it was just chugging.
It was painfully slow. But anyway, that one and the other one is Marvel Superheroes War of the Gems.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually a game I remember because when the PlayStation 1 and Sega Saturn and 64 all came out, Blockbuster started to sell off all of their Super Nintendo games.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember this because that Christmas, 96, I actually received my Super Nintendo. So, of course, the first thing I wanted to do after I played Killer Instinct to death was go and rent a game. Because I could finally rent a game. And a couple years later, they were selling them off. So I headed up there, and I had rented Marvel Superheroes War of the Gems dozens of times. And so I bought it for probably $10. I was actually looking for the copy of Knights of the Round that they had there, but sadly it had been sold. But I still have it. I still have Marvel Superheroes in the green Blockbuster case with the insert. And they used to print the game instructions on the back of the case.
Yep.
And it was extraordinarily useful in this game because the characters all had special moves and combos you had to know and things to play the game. So that was really useful. And it's something that, I don't know, I kept it around partially because of the instructions on the back and partially because it was just kind of neat to have. It was something that you don't normally see in a collection. Not that I was thinking that way when I bought the game, but it's a nice protective hard case. And then now I look back and go, I'm so glad I have this, as stupid as it may seem. Good times. They just got really expensive later on. I remember I rented, was it Resident Evil 5? Or, I don't remember what it was. Something on Xbox, and I rented it because we were doing a LAN party or something with our 360s, and we needed an extra copy of this game, so I went out to Blockbuster to get it, and it was something like $12.
Yeah.
To rent the game for like 3 days or some stupid thing, and I never could comprehend that, so I rarely ever rented after that.
Yeah, it was mostly once they hit around $10 for us where, my parents were just like, yeah, we're not doing this anymore. Way too expensive.
Well, I can't blame them either. I mean, on one hand, it's ridiculously expensive, but on the other hand, they are selling primarily disc-based media, which tends to get wrecked, and you know how people who rent games don't take care of them.
Of course not.
I mean, back when they were cartridges, like the Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, that kind of thing.
You could drop that off a 5-story building and it'd still work.
Yeah, you could crack that case open as long as the circuit board's still fine. You're okay. But yeah, you could beat the hell out of those things and they wouldn't stop working. They were troopers. But once you go to disc-based media like the PlayStation 1, Sega Saturn, and so forth, it just got, the games got more fragile and harder to protect and things like that. So I don't blame them for that. A couple other memories I have. This was back a while ago, but when we went around to these different stores to do the Secret Shopper, I remember walking in, and it was the first time I had ever seen a Sony PlayStation. The original, the PS1.
Mm-hmm.
In a little stand-up display kiosk with this, the TV monitor and whatever, and the controller's connected by a big rubber thing.
Yep.
Connector, so you can't steal it. Resident Evil 1. was playing. And of course I'm a stupid kid, so I run over to this thing and I'm like, oh man, video games! I was probably no more than 11, 12, 13 years old maybe. And I remember it was the very beginning of the game, and I walked back to that door to go back outside the mansion, and the dogs like attack you.
Yep. Scared
me to death. Absolutely. and my younger sister was kind of really interested in it, so she takes the controller and she starts playing, and we get to the part where the zombie like slowly turns around, it's like eating a guy. Mm-hmm. And she started screaming and trying to turn around and run, but of course the controls are horrible. So we're like, she's running into walls, and I'm screaming, I'm going, go, turn, run away.
Yep.
And she is just having an absolute like ridiculous time with this, and she ends up getting mauled and killed. And we just dropped the controller, and she dropped the controller and was like, nope, walked away, and yeah, I always remember that. You remember when they used to let you rent the systems themselves?
Oh yeah, and those big old like protective black plastic cases.
They look like old school camcorder carrying cases with the inlaid foam and the hard outside. Yeah, like you were going on a secret mission. But I remember when the PlayStation 1 came out and the 64, you could rent from Blockbuster for like, I don't remember what it was, but you'd pay them for the weekend and you could take it home. And I went to a friend of mine, his house for a sleepover, and we rented a PlayStation 1 and a couple of games for it, and then he also had a Super Nintendo and a Sega Genesis, so we were set for the weekend. Like, that was it. I was done. Mm-hmm. And playing the PlayStation... Now, this might not have been the best games to get for it, you know, because it's a brand new system, you don't know what to get, but you just pick up what you think looks interesting. Mm-hmm. So I remember he got it was Star Wars Dark Forces, which was like a first-person shooter. And then it was X-Men Children of the Atom, I think it was. Which was like a 2D fighting game.
Yep.
And we're playing these games, and I'm looking at it going, it doesn't look that much better than Super Nintendo. Stupid me. And, but we still have, I mean, I'm not saying we didn't have fun. I mean, we had a blast, because who doesn't like mid-90s X-Men? Come on.
Everyone loves it.
Everyone loves X-Men. So, yeah, we played it to death, but, man, I remember pulling it out, and it was the first time I actually got to hold the system and look at it and hook it up and actually play with the controllers and everything. It was so, so great. To this day, though, I hate that D-pad. I gotta say that. The D-pad on the PlayStation controllers, all of them, are awful.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you on that. I only played it with the DualShock controllers, so I always used an analog stick, so I never ever used the D-pad.
Right.
It was just, well, one, the buttons always felt like they were way too close to the actual, I guess, case of the controller. So when you push it down, you'd barely push it in, and it just didn't feel, as resistive as it should.
It certainly didn't feel as nice as like the Genesis or Super Nintendo.
Yeah, there was no like definite push click type feel to the buttons. It just kind of went down.
Yeah, it was mushy, I guess.
Yeah.
But I hated how it was segmented. I mean, I hated it on the PSP because they use the same style D-pad, whatever. They fixed it on the Vita, thank God. I mean, it's still somewhat segmented, but it is one piece. Mm-hmm. And it looks like they've tried to address it with the PS4's DualShock 3 controller, is it?
I think
that's
where they're at. I don't know.
I can't remember. Whatever, the PS4 controller. They kind of made the D-pad a little bit bigger, but it's still segmented. I don't understand why they can't just use one piece of plastic like the old school retro controllers did, but I don't know. I mean, I still gamed on it a lot, but just I was never really happy with it. Anyway, getting off topic.
That's what we do.
This is the Random Thoughts podcast. No, but it was great. It was really fun to be able to take out these systems. I remember renting out a Nintendo 64. I was going to a friend's birthday party, and his parents had rented out a Nintendo 64 with Smash Brothers, GoldenEye, and what was the other one? Mario Kart. We did not sleep.
Yep.
The whole time we were there. And there were 4 controllers, one of which had it was like a third-party knockoff controller, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That nobody wanted to use. I actually didn't mind it. It was the Interact... Was it Interact? No, Performance controller. You know, the ones where the 2 sidearms are hacked off?
Yep.
I actually really liked that controller a lot, and used it quite a lot. But anyway, we would just sit and play, and the Nintendo 64 for multiplayer was amazing, and that's what made me want to get one for Christmas that year. Was just how much fun that system was. And yeah, it was all thanks to Blockbuster. I mean, heck, I wouldn't know half of the games that I know if it wasn't for Blockbuster. The ability to go in and for, at the time, very little money, pick up a game and leave. Years later, this was like 2001, 2002, I think. It was whenever Ninja Gaiden was released on the original Xbox. But Blockbuster decided to do this thing that they called Game Rush.
Right.
Yeah, and so what it was they were trying to become basically like a GameStop, where you could walk in and purchase games and things like that. And that's actually, and like I said, it's really close to my house. Just a short bike ride from my house, so... Well, probably from your house, too. Probably a short car ride. You probably used the same one.
Yeah. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, the one in...
the one in Standale in that little mini plaza.
Yeah. Yep. In the little plaza. Which shut down a couple years ago. But anyway, back to the point. And so I used to go in there, and there was a guy named Jeff, I think his name was, if I'm remembering right. And he was their game advisor. Or whatever they had a special term for the guy.
Mm-hmm.
But we would just talk games for hours. And he would make certain recommendations. It's what made me pick up Soul Calibur 2 and Tales of Symphonia and various other games. Metal Arms, Glitch in the System, which I rented. So many games based on this one guy's opinion, and he was always right, by the way. But and but they had really awesome promotions from time to time where they did like tournaments all the time, and they did that Mario figure that I have, where he's riding Yoshi, the Mario Sunshine figurine.
Yep,
that I have. That was actually from Blockbuster. If you bought a brand new GameCube game for $50, they would give you the figurine. It had to be a game. The guy takes 2 games out and he goes, "Listen, here are 2 games." And in his one hand he had Tales of Symphonia, on the other hand he had F-Zero.
Mm-hmm.
Or what was it, F-Zero GX or?
Yeah, GX is the one on the GameCube.
Right. Okay. And he goes, "I recommend both, but you can pick, and no matter what you pick, you get the figure." And I had just gotten my birthday money or something that year. I forget, but I had some money. So I'm standing there and I'm going, I don't know. I picked Tales of Symphonia because I asked him, I said, which game is longer?
Mm-hmm.
Because at the time I only bought like 2-3 new games a year.
Yeah.
So it was like, because at the time I was still going to school, I didn't have an actual job. I did like computer work for neighbors and mowed lawns and things. But so it was like, which game will take me longer to beat? And he goes, well, this is an RPG, and he slides Tales of Symphonia over, and he goes, you're going to want to play that.
Mm-hmm.
Sold. And he wasn't wrong. I love Tales of Symphonia so much. Sadly, it was years before I was able to find a copy of F-Zero. Which,
I gave you my old copy for your birthday when I found a better copy. And then you found a better copy, which you just gave me back my old copy. So now I have 2 copies of F-Zero GX.
Yeah, I bought the better copy, because yours had like a reprinted cover.
Mm-hmm. It had a reprinted cover and no manual.
Right. Yeah, but then I found a complete copy, so I was like, oh, you can have your game back.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that wasn't like a thing.
No, I don't care. I knew you'd choose the better copy.
Because we're gamers.
Uh-huh.
Hardcore, man. Anyway, so yeah, I used to go in there all the time. That's when I bought my Xbox Live starter kit and first got on Xbox Live. I pre-ordered Halo 2 from them. That was a day. Halo 2 coming out. Mm. I mean, I'm kind of lukewarm to the Halo series right now, but back then, Halo 1 and Halo 2 were all I played on the Xbox. Outside of, I think, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, which I probably played through like 5 or 6 times. But yeah, Halo 2 was incredible, and the online, I had to get the online for it, and that was funny too, because I bought the starter kit, and it came with like, you get a year free, but you still had to sign up with a credit card. So I called my older sister, and I begged her to let me use her credit card number.
Yep. So
that I could get online, and I was like, you won't be charged anything, whatever. So she gives it to me, but that was kind of the problem, because when I got my 360 years later, her card had expired, and I was supporting the account at the time by just buying subscription cards.
Yep.
And the problem was, her card had expired, so when I went to move my account over to the 360, they couldn't move it over because they needed the credit card, which she at that point had cut up and thrown away.
Yep. So
I had to create a whole new account, find all my friends again on Xbox Live, and get them to friend me again or whatever. It was a mess, but man, the hours I would spend on Xbox Live were just, especially with Halo 2, was just incredible. Funny thing, I remember my mom was out of town. I think she went on a missions trip or something with my sister. And it was my birthday, and I have a thing on my birthday where I always buy myself something. Something I've always wanted, I just buy it.
Yep.
Because it's my birthday, damn it, and I'm going to get what I want. And I wanted Xbox Live, so I went out and I bought it. The guy on the phone on Xbox Tech Support helped me hook it up by directly hooking it into the modem.
Huh.
So here's the thing. Because at the time I didn't have wireless, and I couldn't run a cable all the way into my room from where the router is.
Yep.
So here's the thing. When I wanted to play Xbox Live, no one else could be online. Because I had to plug directly into the modem. And here's the other problem. I had to be in the living room on that TV.
Yep.
So for a couple of months, I had my Xbox hooked up in the living room, and at one point I even brought in a 13-inch television set, just a little thing, and sat it on the floor to plug my Xbox into so I could play while everyone else was watching TV. Yeah, I was addicted to Xbox Live for a while. And then I bought the official Xbox Live wireless adapter, and it just fixed all my problems.
Your family except was just like, finally, God!
Yeah, no, my mom gave me $20, and she goes, how much more do you need to get that thing? I'm like, I don't know, I'm a little short, and she threw $20 at me and goes, go get it! Okay. Yeah, but of course I was running the entire thing off of that wireless B-Linksys router that I had at the time.
Yep.
So, it was kind of a problem. But no, I mean, Blockbuster at the time when they were doing the Game Rush thing, that was fantastic because there really isn't a GameStop anywhere near me. I mean, it's a good 20-minute drive or so to get to a GameStop around here.
Yeah.
Which isn't bad for most people, I'm sure. But I mean, as a kid with a bicycle as your only form of transportation, it's like, well...
I don't want to travel probably a good 30 miles, isn't it?
Yeah, because you have to go all the way to, like, Alpine Township.
Yeah. And try to survive Alpine.
Yeah. I mean, it got a little better when the mall opened.
Mm-hmm.
But not that much better. Anyway, yeah, so yeah, that was great, and I used to go in there and buy used games all the time. My Mario Kart Double Dash I got from there. A bunch of Dreamcast games. When I got a Dreamcast in 2004, and yes, I remember the date. I got it in 2004, and I went in there and just bought out all these Dreamcast games they had. I bought controllers and memory cards and things from them because it was just so cheap and fun to do. But yeah, just so many memories, just walking in there and walking out with a game and just having fun for a weekend. I mean, I know they're replaced with like Redbox and Netflix and Hulu Plus and all this other stuff, but I still, and you can kind of vouch for this too, but we'd still go there and hang out.
Oh yeah, when our store was still around, it was every once in a while we'd just head up there just to see what they had.
I watched so many strange, odd movies.
Mm-hmm.
Just from the box art. You just wander around. It's just not the same to do it on your TV screen, and you scroll through. Oh, what did they add this week?
Yep.
It's you walk to the action section or whatever, and you just start browsing, and you pick it up and you hold it in your hand. You read the description. Oh, this looks interesting. And back when they had knowledgeable people working there, and I'm not making any assumptions by anybody who worked there at the time, but it used to be that people would recommend a lot of stuff for you. They you'd walk up and go, I don't know what to rent. I used to do this all the time. I'd walk up, I don't know what to get. Well, what do you like? Well, I like this movie, that movie, or when they did the Game Rush, this game, that game. Rent this. And they were usually right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, but it was so much fun. Just, you could kind of see, it was sad watching them go downhill. Because you would have assumed that they would have jumped on the whole streaming bandwagon a lot sooner than they did.
Didn't you find that article when you were just kind of looking up, after you heard Blockbuster had closed, that the people from Netflix actually approached Blockbuster first to set up their streaming service through them? And
Netflix had all the technology and they were just looking for a licensor or something, and they talked to Blockbuster about it.
And Blockbuster basically laughed him out of the room.
Yeah, Blockbuster basically said no. It's almost as bad as when Atari told Nintendo, no, we won't distribute the Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
They could have, and they did try, but I never really noticed.
Well, it never really took off because Netflix.
Well, they had I saw one Blockbuster rental box, that looked like a Redbox thing, but Blockbuster branded, at a Speedway one time. Most random location. I remember they had this DVD by mail service where you could, go online or whatever, create an account and make a list, and then they'd mail you the DVDs, kind of like Netflix did at the time. Actually, exactly like Netflix did at the time. Mm-hmm. Before they got into the whole streaming aspect. And that was fun, because I think it was stupid cheap to join and try. So we tried it out and we watched a lot of stuff. But interestingly enough, this was around the time that HD DVD and Blu-ray were both coming out at first, and they were,
At
fighting
war with each other.
Yeah, the format war. Many lives were lost. No, but I feel like that guy from 300, the announcer from 300.
Many DVDs were sacrificed in the
high
battle.
definition DVDs, superior format, but not much support. Anyway, and my mom accidentally rented Corpse Bride on HD DVD rather than DVD, so it gets to the house and we can't play it. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go pick up the HD DVD drive for the 360, and we're gonna watch this movie because I was that stupid. So I go out and I buy the drive, and I think I bought Mission Impossible with it, and it also came with King Kong. And so we hooked this whole mess up, plugged in the 47 cables it came with, and because at that time, remember the Xbox was still running off component.
Yep.
So you had that ridiculous I hate component cables so much. Like, I like the quality, but I just don't like the mess.
Here's a cable for each and every single different video feed, and then we merge it all together to make it look awesome. But
it was basically what it was it was an HD DVD drive that you would plug into the 360 via USB, and you could watch HD DVD movies on it, which confused the heck out of me personally, because back before the system came out, and there were all these rumors flying about the new Xbox and the new PlayStation. PlayStation 3 had announced they were going with Blu-ray, so everybody assumed that the Xbox was going to go with HD DVD because it was backed by Microsoft and Toshiba at the time, so it made sense. Then they come out and they're like, it's just DVD. And I literally was like, why? Why would you do that?
Now, I remember our specific conversation when I found out about that, too. Because I thought they were still using the HD DVD, and then you're like, no, they're just using regular DVDs.
How did they do that?
What? What?
Yep. I know. I remember having conversations with my friends in high school and be like, yeah, they're totally going to go with HD DVD, and it's going to be great. And then they released this add-on drive, which actually not surprisingly for me, I still have it. Mm-hmm. Funny thing, if you plug it into a Windows PC, it actually works as an external drive and will play HD DVD movies. I use it all the time as an external drive when I need to repair computers and stuff because I don't have another one. So I'll drag out my HD DVD drive. I fixed netbooks with it before. Anyway, I'm getting off topic again. But, so yeah, I was HD DVD because I had the drive and I started buying the movies little by little because I didn't want to dump hundreds of dollars into this and then Blu-ray wins. But I remember, the nail in the coffin was Walt Disney announced they were going Blu-ray only. Mm-hmm. And Blockbuster announced they were only renting Blu-rays. And at that, I just threw my hands up and went, well, that's it. I mean, those are your two biggest distributors. So, because at the time, you could still walk into Blockbuster and buy HD DVDs. Or not, well, you could buy them too, but you could rent them as well. So.
Yep.
But that was when I knew Blu-ray was going to win. Because, yeah. And now it's all kind of a moot point. Surprisingly though, you know what does use HD DVD right now?
What?
The Wii U.
Oh, right, yeah.
It uses a slight variation on that technology to store, I think it's like 25 gigs on a disc or something. It's not exactly HD DVD, but from what I've read, it's basically using the same technology.
Yep.
From Toshiba, just slightly altered, which I think is great. it wasn't really a problem with the 360 to use just DVD until you started to play RPGs on the thing. Games like Lost Odyssey and Final Fantasy 13, which had 4 or 5 discs to them. because
they couldn't fit it on one DVD.
Because it didn't fit. So that was when you really saw the difference between the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox. Because the PS3 was 1 disc, sometimes 2, on certain games, but a lot of times just 1. And I remember Final Fantasy 13 fit on 1 disc. Yep. I think 13.2 also fits on 1 disc. Whereas on the Xbox, it's multiple DVDs. And they don't even redesign the cases. It's they like stack them all, and then with Lost Odyssey, they put the last disc in a paper sleeve and they shove it behind the manual. Like really? You should have redesigned the case. You should have made some epic looking box for the game to go in. Like they used to do on PlayStation. Where when the game took 4 CDs, they had a 4 CD holder.
Mm-hmm.
And it looked huge. And so when you sat it on your shelf, it looked awesome. Because then you could be like, that's my RPG right there. That's a game. That's a big game.
You know that's my RPG.
Yep. Because it fits 2 spaces.
Mm-hmm.
It was really awesome. Pain in the ass to stack those on CD trays, though. Or CD racks. Because they were so big and huge. Anyway, but yeah. It's really a shame that Blockbuster had to go. I mean, so many memories, but it really helped me grow.
It was an extremely slow and agonizing death.
It really was. I mean, they held on for a long time. I remember, funny thing, remember when the Blockbuster near us actually did close, though?
Mm-hmm.
So we go in and we're looking around, and I picked up that Judge Dredd for Sega Genesis.
Yeah, and that little crappy box at the back of the store.
Yup.
that was also where I got my PS2 video cables as well for like $1.
Yeah, it was like $1. And I walked... when was that? Like 2008? 2009? I don't...
No, it was... It might have been 2011. It wasn't that far back.
Not that far back? Okay.
No.
Yeah, maybe. But only a couple years ago. And it's like, why do you have a Sega Genesis cartridge?
Where did this come from?
Where did this come from? And the guy's like, yeah, we just found it in the back. What else do you have back there? I mean, it's not as bad as like when Circuit City closed, because Circuit City was just a miserable failure. I remember when they shut all their stores, but Blockbuster was, I don't know, because it's so close to my house, because I used to go there all the time and pick up games and rent things and try things and talk to the game advisor guy and I don't know, it was special. It was special to me to have a store like that, because there are no other game stores around here. I mean, there's a Meijer store, and there's actually, I think that's it. I think there's a Walgreens around here, but nowhere to get actual games, really.
Yeah, no game specialization store.
Yeah, there's no GameStop or Software Etc. or something like that. I mean, not that close anyway. So Blockbuster always held a really special place in my heart for all of that, because it really helped me grow. And like I said, a lot of the games that I own and that I've played were recommended to me from the people that worked at Blockbuster.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody recommended Earthbound, but I'll just leave that alone.
I stumbled across that little gem on my own.
I've still got my Super Nintendo box with Earthbound on the back of the box, and I'm sitting there going, how did I not see this?
Uh-huh.
But no, I mean, hats off to you, Blockbuster. It really...
Yep, it's a shame to see you go, because you really did define my childhood.
Yeah, it was good times, good times. Also, bad times. You ever had any bad times at Blockbuster?
One where I rented a game. It was a PS1 game that actually did not have the right game in its case. This is before they took all the games out of the cases.
Right.
So, I mean, we took it back and they fixed it, but, that was just kind of a day in itself. Just
You're all excited to play.
play this game, and then it's just this crappy game that I knew was a crappy game because I rented it before.
I never had anything like that. I mean, every once in a while, like a DVD wouldn't work or something, and to take it back. But when I was little,
now some games took some doing to get them to work. All the CD-based stuff, just because they were just beat to hell.
I always hated buying used games from Blockbuster because you knew they were never going to be in very good shape. I did buy a few, but man, you had to go looking. But no, the only bad memory I ever had, and this is more of me just being a petulant little 10-year-old, was my mom, like I said, would do the secret shopper, so we'd go in, and my mom would sometimes say, well, it's your sister's turn to pick the game she wants to play. Why? Answer me why. It is my Super Nintendo. It is my system in my room. Like, I never understood that, even now. It's like, why did you make her rent, like, Barbie Fashion Adventure, whatever, on Super Nintendo? Like, she used to rent this Barbie game over and over again. It was horrible. And I would sit and play it because that was my game for the weekend, That was what I had. Mm-hmm. And I'd sit and play it. It was horrible. She'd rent she did rent Donkey Kong Country, but I don't like Donkey Kong Country. Anyway, I'm gonna get hate mail for that. I don't like Donkey Kong Country. I'm sorry.
It's not as great of a game as everyone says.
Everyone goes off on it like it's the greatest game on Super Nintendo, and it's like, it's really not. But maybe I'll do like a video about that, like reasons I hate Donkey Kong Country. But yeah, she used to get to rent the games every once in a while, and she never. Well, she did. I won't say she always picked the wrong ones, but it was always kind of a crapshoot with her. I remember Mario is Missing. She rented Mario is Missing one time.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah, which for an educational game, I'll still stand behind that game. That game was fun. Mm-hmm. I had fun with that game. I actually have the MS-DOS Windows version of Mario is Missing, by the way. Which is one of my prized, I have this collectible game things. You can see it actually in my alphabet video. It's M for Mario. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that was always annoying. Other than that, other than not being able to find the movie you wanted to rent or not being able to find the game you wanted to rent. But that's just what happens.
Yeah, it's just general, oh, it's not here.
Yeah.
Type things.
But, and Sega Genesis, my oldest sister in her room at the time had a Sega Genesis. So I got to rent a whole bunch of stuff from Blockbuster. Like, not just Super Nintendo, but, Sega Genesis stuff too. And I remember renting, X-Men 2 Clone Wars and Sonic Spinball and, oh, what else? I don't, just so many. Echo the Dolphin and Streets of Rage 2. When I could find a copy of Streets of Rage 2, my weekend was done. I was so happy. But the best thing ever, and this was Super Nintendo, but if I could rent this, it was so great. Well, 2 games. Sunset Riders on Super Nintendo.
Oh, hell yeah.
Hells yeah, Sunset Riders. Yeah! Because you press start and it does the thing. Explanations. And the other one, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4, Turtles in Time.
Kind of funny because they're both arcade ports.
By Konami.
Uh-huh.
No, but seriously, if I could get those were the two I always looked for, and when I could find them, it was going to be a good weekend. Because I have a pool. Here's the thing. I have a pool at the house, so people would come over when I was a kid all the time to swim and stuff. And so if I had a game that was 2-player, it was just an excuse to grab my friend and be like, can we go inside and play Nintendo? Don't you want to swim? Well, we have turtles and it's a 2-player game. You know? Oh, well, I guess if you have... Great, let's go. So much fun. But here's just one more.
Mm-hmm.
When I was very, very little, and it's one of the few memories I still have that I remember very clearly, but my oldest sister, she's much older than I was, and she could drive, and so we go out to, I think it was a family video, so I guess it might have been a Blockbuster. I think it was a Blockbuster. We go out to this Blockbuster, and she rents The Legend of Zelda 2 for NES.
Mm.
And I played The Legend of Zelda, not well, but I played it a lot. Just wandering and running into stuff and killing. But I had fun with it. So I'm expecting like Zelda 2 to be this amazing game and just be just like Zelda 1. And you pop it in and it's like, what happened? Even as a little kid, I'm like, what did they do?
Mm-hmm.
What is this?
Side-scrolling... What?
Overhead, and you run into a black thing, and then you have to fight it, and you level up. I couldn't comprehend it. I just didn't understand. I mean, coming from Zelda 1 to Zelda 2, now I kind of get what they were going for, because they were trying to be more like Wonder Boy, which was Sega's like side-scrolling RPG thing that they had on the Master System, and they were trying to compete with that a little bit. So I could kind of see it, but I don't like Zelda 2. I don't care what anyone says. I've tried to play it even now. I have it on my 3DS of all things, and I cannot stand it. I love Zelda 1. It's an absolute classic, but Zelda 2 is just a train wreck. Music's good, though.
It's just mostly an experiment kind of gone bad due to inexperience, I'd say.
Yeah, you could tell what they were going for. You could see what they were trying to do, but just couldn't do it. Couldn't pull it off. And for anyone who can finish that game, kudos, because I gave up. I just give up trying to... I could beat Metroid, and I couldn't beat Zelda 2, so...
You could beat Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah, but that's a side-scroller. That's not like an exploration, like, where do I go kind of game.
I was just mostly in terms of difficulty.
Yes, I have beaten the original Ninja Gaiden. Funny thing, I haven't ever beaten Ninja Gaiden 2, which everyone says is easier. So, maybe I'm missing something, but I don't think it is. Oh. Yeah. Anyway, kudos, Blockbuster. It's really a shame. Anyway, alright, so we're going to move on to what we've been playing. And it's going to be a pretty short list for me personally, but I don't know. You want to go, or you want to flip a coin? You want to roll a die? You want to make a satanistic pact? Do you want to like?
No, I'll go first.
Okay.
And pull up the good old Steam list here. All right. Okay, so finally, hallelujah and whatever. I finally started playing the Batman Arkham games because since the Windows Games for Windows thing is shutting down, the developers moved it over to Steamworks, meaning they removed the DRM and Games for Windows Live on it. And that was my main reason why I did not want to buy it. Just because...
And the clouds parted, and the angels were singing.
Yep. And, it had the crappy Securom 4 install bullcrap that I just never can stand, and I just refuse to buy them.
Sekirom is a virus.
Even when they were like $5, I was just like, nope, don't care. I don't want that. And then finally, it was on sale again, and of course, every time I see it's on sale, I go and check to make sure if they removed it or not. This time they said they did. They moved over to Steamworks. I'm like, insta-buy.
Add to cart.
Yep. I had already played through Arkham Asylum. Beat it, loved it. Good as everyone says it is. I'm a couple hours into Arkham City. Other things kind of derailed my gameplay of that. But that game is just as good from what I've played of it. Kind of more the same, but the exploration of the city is a nice touch. Just zipping around, flying, zip-lining onto things to send you high in the air, exploring the different buildings and whatnot. It's a fun experience. The combat has been fixed from the first one. I don't know. The first one, the combat felt kind of stiff. I mean, Batman could easily flow from combo to combo, but it was really hard to block and dodge enemy attacks, just because I don't know. I guess either I was probably attacking too much and not really, trying to time my attacks, but whatever.
Yeah, it always did feel kind of clunky to me.
But no,
it was great. Don't get me wrong.
But they refined the combat in Arkham City. Playing as Catwoman is a nice side thing. Her movesets are interesting, and her little stories are kind of fun. I don't know. I like playing as Batman more just because he has more gadgets and toys. But I've been playing both of those. I also picked up Condemned Criminal Origins on Steam. It was like $3.25, so I said, why not? I only played a couple hours of that. I can tell I'm gonna really enjoy it, just because, I don't know, to me it kind of plays like Fear.
Same company.
Yeah, I know, same company. But from what I've played of it, it plays pretty much like Fear. Even the opening is kind of the same. You drive up in a car, go into an abandoned building, type thing. But I did do some of the investigation work, and that looks to be fun, just because I can go around and deduce certain things based off of evidence I find around the room. And it's a nice breakup from shooting bad guys in the face. Let's see. Next would be Deus Ex Human Revolution: The Director's Cut. So they finally fixed the boss battles and added some extra goodies to the game. And thankfully, because they have a special deal on it, where if you own the game and the Missing Link DLC, the game is 75% off, meaning you can get the director's cut for $5. So I was just like, yeah, why not? A lot of people don't like the fact that you have to pay for an update, but I consider it kind of a new game anyway. But it's Deus Ex. If you've played the first ones, I think you would like this one. I mean, of course, they did kind of change the formula up a little bit. But I love the RPG elements, the stealth. I'm a stealth person. I enjoy being sneaky, killing people without other people knowing. So that's really fun. Haven't beaten it yet. I played the original and got like around 10 or 11 hours in, and then I just stopped because other games. That's always my reason why I stopped playing games. But yeah, I'm looking forward to dig into that once I clear out my backlog. Next on the list is Audio Surf 2. It is the sequel to Audio Surf. It is a game that basically it generates gameplay based off of your music, and you may think, well, why in the hell would you create a sequel for a game where its content is based on your own music? Mostly because they changed the engine. They switched over to Unity now instead of whatever they were using before, meaning they have way more flexibility with it and they can do a lot more things with it, like add mod support. And the overall polish on the game is really nice. It's still in early access right now. I don't know when the entire game is coming out. But in terms of the gameplay, I don't know, to me it's pretty polished as it sits. I haven't run into any major game-breaking bugs. Actually, I haven't run into any bugs, really. It crashed a couple of times on me when I was navigating the menus. But in terms of just, playing the game and listening to the song, I haven't had any issues through that. But if you want, I mostly play it on just if I want to just sit back, relax, just listen to music, do something else other than listen to music. So why not just play a game that generates its content off of my music? And I don't know, I think I got like a good 50 hours in the first one. And right now on Audio Surf 2, I've gotten around 8 or 9, maybe more. I don't know. But it's fun. They introduce a new wakeboard mode where whenever the song goes from an example is if it's like really slow and, doesn't have a lot of kick to it, is that it'll create these upward hills, and then as soon as the music picks up and it goes, I'm not like a music person, so I don't know any music terms or whatnot, but as soon as the song picks up and things start getting a lot faster, then it goes into this deep downward slope, where at the crest of that hill is when you would jump off to start performing different moves to earn points, and then you can get the points multiplied by any of the collectible box things that you just collect as you ride through it. And I don't like the new mode that much. I just mostly play mono, which is just collect the blocks and avoid the gray circles. Casual play. But I like it. I play it on my downtime. Next game I played is Bunny Must Die, Chelsea and the Seven Devils. It is a Japanese doujin game that was licensed and brought over here. It plays a lot like a Metroidvania. No.
Oh, really?
No, not Metroid. No, more closer to Castlevania. Like
classic Castlevania?
More
like the Super Nintendo NES era, or more like the PlayStation era?
PlayStation.
Okay, so it does play a bit like Metroid then.
Yeah, I guess. But the thing that really makes it stand out is that you have these time manipulation powers, which you can use to, speed yourself up, slow down time around you. You can even reverse time to have your after image hit certain buttons that you would need to hit to unlock doors. The game is hard as hell, though, being a Japanese game. You die pretty quickly if you're not, careful. And if you die, it's just game over, back to the start menu. And every time you start the game, it increments, how many times you've replayed. But the boss battles are actually kind of ridiculous. One of the bosses is a gigantic cartoon cat. Okay. I guess I'll explain the backstory. Bunny is, of course, a bunny girl who is cursed with cat ears due to some thermonuclear. I don't know.
Thermonuclear?
No. It's some stupid cat pun.
Oh,
in terms of
thermonuclear or something?
Thermonuclear or something like that. Explosion from the cats and whatever. So she wants to get her revenge on them for giving her cat ears. So she goes into the
sounds appropriate
dungeons to take on the 7 devils. And I don't know, it's a fun platformer. There's a ton of different weapons that you can collect on top of your throwing knives. You can get this gigantic laser sword, a flail, a boomerang. I love the boomerang, by the way. It's the best weapon to me, just because you can spam the hell out of it. But if you're looking for a good Metroidvania type game to tide you over, Bunny Must Die and Chelsea and the 7 Devils is a pretty fun game. I think you would be satisfied with it.
I will have to try it if it's anything like Metroid.
Oh, yeah. Okay, next going down the list. Of course, Payday 2. Don't gotta say much about that. Oh yeah, I gotta beat Spec Ops The Line.
Yes, you do.
Oh yeah, something completely unexpected. I've been playing Gary's Mod a lot more. Just mostly Trouble in Terrorist Town, Prop Hunt. I think that's it. Oh no, and then Slender the Arrival as well. But those are 3 mods that I would recommend if anyone doesn't know what to play with the Gary's Mod. You know, they're not... If they don't feel like building crap in Gary's Mod, those are some game mods that I would recommend playing. Next would be Deadly Premonition, the Director's Cut.
Prop Hunt was fun.
Oh yeah, Prop Hunt is fun. It's basically a game where you have 2 teams, the props and the hunters, and the props just basically take the form of other static objects like a lamp or a bed or a crate. And you basically turn into the object, and you have to go and kind of place yourself to make yourself look less suspicious. And then the hunters come out and they try to find, you amongst the props, and if they, guess wrong, they take a little bit of damage. And surprisingly, yeah, if you're playing as a prop and you're just standing still, surprisingly it's still fun, because then you can just completely mess with the hunters. Like when we're just playing together, you're like, "Where are you?" "I am somewhere under a roof."
I am within the game space.
I am in a building. I am next to another object. Type things. And Trouble in Terrorist Town, it's a game mod where you play as a bunch of terrorists. There are traitor terrorists who kill the innocent terrorists. And there's a detective who gets equipment, and the traitors get their own equipment. And it's basically a game of, innocent win or traitors win if they're successful. And Slender the Arrival is one person plays as the Slenderman, while everyone else, I think a fair game is 8 players with 7 players and then 1 Slender. And the other 7 players just go around the level looking for pages while the Slenderman basically hunts them down. My only problem is that it gets pretty boring for the people who die early, because you have to wait for the entire game to finish before you can start playing again, and it can take a while. But in terms of, actually playing it, it's fun. Okay, moving on. Next is Deadly Premonition, the Director's Cut. I haven't played too much of it. Only about an hour. I know I will enjoy it just because of just the ridiculous what the hell were you thinking with everything with that game. It's like watching a train wreck. You just can't stop watching. It's a horrible thing, but you just can't stop. You just got to see this thing through.
What, the story?
Just general gameplay.
Oh, yeah, no, the gameplay's pretty dated. I bought it mainly... I've had it on the 360 for a long time. I bought it used from GameStop a while back because I was reading an article about the top 10 protagonists in current gaming or something like that. I don't remember. But it was an article about this thing. And number 1 was the guy from Deadly Premonition, whose name escapes me at the moment. Whatever, the main character. And I was like, huh. And then I started to really look into the game, and I saw Jim Sterling's review, and other people, a lot of bad reviews, and then his review. So it was like, what the hell? So I bought it. I went into GameStop. It wasn't that expensive. It was like $15. I picked it up, and yeah, I really enjoyed what I played of it. And then, of course, hey, we got a director's cut coming out for PS3. Oh, I'll pick that up. And then just when that comes out, hey, we got a director's cut coming to Steam. I'll play that. Because it's got all this extra story bit in it, and But it is dated in more ways than one, but there's just something about it that I just find so charming and interesting.
It has its own thing that you just have to play it, just because it's just mostly the characters. They're just ridiculous.
I like to say you have to be slightly demented to enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's not one of those so bad it's good. Because it is bad, but there's... Because, like, there's movies you watch and you go, oh, it's so bad it's good. It's such a bad movie that I really enjoy it. But that's not really it with this game. It's different with games. It's like... It's so bad in the gameplay department, but the story and characters are so interesting, and the world... and the dialogue and the way it all kind of flows together is so intriguing. You want to get through these horrible gameplay segments to get to the story, which is hard to say about many other games.
Yeah, no, the story is fantastic. It's just the gameplay that kind of bogs it down a little.
And the graphics.
Graphics look like PS2 graphics.
Yeah. I remember when I booted it up on my 360 for the first time, like, I had seen video of it, but I really wasn't ready for it to happen. Like, you know what I mean? Like sitting in front of it's like, wow, it really is that bad. Like, they weren't, like, putting a filter on the video or something like I was hoping. Like, that is one texture repeated 1 million times on the grass, isn't it?
Yep.
But you gotta give him credit anyway.
And we'll move over to my 3DS. Only 2 games I really played a lot of. I'll get to the other one. But the first one is Rune Factory 4. For those of you who are not familiar with the Rune Factory series, Rune Factory is basically Harvest Moon. You get a farm, you can, plant crops, grow them. You got a yearly calendar. You can choose a girl to marry, whatnot. Harvest Moon. And then you have this whole RPG element on the side of it where you can get weapons and equipment. You can explore dungeons, fight monsters and bosses. And it's basically what I've been looking for in Harvest Moon for a while, because I've played some of the recent games and they just they're a
little bit lacking.
Well, the entire concept is dated. It's the exact same thing. You're just in a new community, with a couple of small new features. But this, they add in the entire RPG side, where you have this entire backstory that you have to go in, that you are put into, and the great thing about it is you really don't have to. There's no time limited things. Like, they'll say, hey, you should go to this dungeon to check out whatever so and so has reported about it, but you don't have to go right away. You can just stick around town, grow your crops if you wanna. Earn a little money. Or if you just felt like going dungeon crawling, you can go dungeon crawling. You don't have to farm.
Now, here's the question, though. Is it better than Animal Crossing?
It is leagues better than Animal Crossing.
Ooh, okay. Because
I've gone in my rant about Animal Crossing. I'm not going to touch that again.
Yeah, no, I was just for comparison's sake. I was interested in Rune Factory because, yeah, you have been talking it up a lot. And it sounds like the kind of game I could get into because something like Harvest Moon or Animal Crossing, there's not enough there for me to be interested.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, I don't like The Sims. I get bored with games like The Sims, where it's like, okay, you're a guy and you live in a house and
yep,
stuff happens. Like, okay, but if it's more like, I guess a good comparison is like Minecraft. Like, yeah, you can go around and just build stuff and make things, but then there's this whole survival aspect, and you got to build a house and fight monsters, and now you got to like quest to kill a dragon and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Like, there's just so much to do when you're not doing stuff, you know? What am I going to do today? Well, I have so many things I could do. And it's not just, I got to go plant more stuff.
It's exactly that feeling with Rune Factory. You know, on certain days I feel like just farming. You know, getting some extra money so I could probably buy that next equipment. So when I do feel like going into a dungeon, I'll be ready for it. And then there's just some days where I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go dungeon crawl. Just go fight monsters and level up and earn better equipment. And it's just, it gives you more options than just farming.
Yeah. You
know, which is what, just Harvest Moon. Now, and don't get me wrong, I love Harvest Moon. But it's just there's not enough there to keep my interest until...
I like it too, but I can't keep playing it over and over and over again.
I generally stop after the first year of gameplay, just because then it just starts to repeat itself.
That's where I usually end up stopping as well.
And with that, you know, I could just see so much more. Just because. Oh, and the great thing about it is that now you're called the Prince or whatnot. You're basically filling in the position of the actual prince, and what you can do is you can dictate town charters. Like if you wanted to start a festival, you can set what date you want it to be on, and you can give upgrades to various shops and whatnot, and you can just customize your experience in town, on top of going dungeon crawling, farming. It's well-rounded in terms of things you can do. It doesn't feel like, there's just too much of this or too much of that. There's enough to where I haven't gotten bored of it yet.
Well, that's good.
Which in Harvest Moon games, I generally get bored pretty quickly. But I'll just say, right, if you're...
I bet I can guess what the next 3DS game is going to be.
Well, actually, I just thought about it, but there's one more, too.
Okay.
But I'll just kind of quickly cover it. Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Dual Destinies. I love Phoenix Wright games. I love them to death. This game is no different. I'll just say Capcom really did pull all the stops in this one and just turned out an excellent Phoenix Wright game. The best thing about it is, of course, the story is fantastic. But in the previous games, there was always, whatever gimmick they introduced to the game, and of course it has it in this game. And the problem that I had with that is that you would be forced to use this gimmick every trial, and it just got kind of, boring. But with this, since you play as 3 different attorneys, they have their own gimmicks from the previous games, but it's a nice enough change between the cases to where, you're not apologist is looking for little minor ticks when they're giving their testimony or things like that. You're just, it gives you variety in terms of the different cases. And plus with Athena Sykes' new ability, the new lawyer in it, her is that she can read a person's true emotions through how they talk, and then she can decipher their testimony based off of that. And what you do is you basically find unexpected emotions within their testimony, and then you just kind of poke at them about that, like, so the rubble fell on you, but you were happy about this. Why? Oh, it was because of, this. And, you can help get out more testimony that way, and it's a nice change, and like I said, it's not forced on you every single case to where it just gets boring and repetitive. And, but I'll just say in terms of a Phoenix Wright game, if you're a Phoenix Wright fan, get it. You won't be disappointed. They are planning future case DLC. I think the next one is this month, actually, in a couple of days. I gotta check the date. But they are adding other DLC cases. I think the case is $6. So I think that's well priced. It's better than paying $10 for something. Especially when the cases can go on for hours. That last case, I swear to God, I actually ruined a night of sleep because of it, because I felt like I was at the end, but I had another 2 hours, so I just kept playing. But you definitely, I feel you'll get your money's worth with that. The only bad part, and I know it's something that you don't like about it, is that it's download only. It does not have a physical release, which I don't like as well. But it's the only way I could play it, so I don't care.
And I am not gonna buy it because it doesn't come out physically. I wouldn't mind it if it was priced accordingly, but it's priced at a full release $30. Is it $30?
Yeah, it's $30.
Yeah, $30, and it doesn't. It's.
But aren't 3DS games normally like $40? Starting out?
30 to 40, depending on what it is.
No.
I still think it's annoying though, but that's just me. I don't know. It's just my own personal little thing. Like I prefer physical copies, and then it's physically released everywhere else but here. Mm-hmm. That's the thing that really gets me. Is like it's not like Japan got the digital and England got the digital. We're the only people that have to buy it digitally. Everyone else gets a physical copy. I just think that's so. You know what I mean? I don't know how to say it, but it's annoying.
Yep.
It's really annoying.
And last but not least, Pokemon.
Yeah, let's not go into Pokemon, because that's going to be like a whole podcast in and of itself.
I'm not. It's just...
But I'll throw my Pokemon in with your Pokemon. We'll talk about Pokemon for a minute. Pokemon X and Y are the most amazing Pokemon games I've ever played. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know because I have X. What do you have? Y?
I have Y.
Okay, I can't remember because we all of our friends have Pokemon. So it's like, who has what now?
Yeah. No, the problem that I've had with all the previous Pokemon games is just they've never changed at all. Sure, they added a couple of new little things you can do, but it never strayed from walk around world, catch Pokemon, beat gym leaders, beat Elite Four, become champion. And yeah,
which to be fair, this game has.
Yeah, to be fair, that's what is in this game. But the thing that changes everything is just the fact that they move from that crappy 2.5D, whatever the hell it is,
looking,
to full 3D. And I'll be honest, when I started playing it, it felt like a completely new game.
And all the Pokemon are there.
Yeah, and all of the Pokemon are there as well. They all have their own little 3D models. The battles are in 3D. I'm not talking about the whole stupid 3D gimmick with the 3DS. I'm talking about
but it's all
everything's
done
modeled in 3D.
Yeah, all the models are, and it has a really nice style to it. It looks really clean. The coloring is bright.
It's not too jarring of a difference between the previous games and this one. Everything looks like it should be there.
Yeah, it is. It is a gigantic. It is the next logical step the series could have taken, but it is such a welcome, refreshing thing to happen that the whole game feels new.
Mm-hmm.
I love wandering the cities and looking around and looking at just all the work that went into this game. It was a labor of love, and it shows. Granted, it takes forever to get the second badge. But once you fix that problem, the rest of the game is really nice. I haven't put near as much time into it as everyone else has, because I've been working a lot, but
I've gotten close to 60 hours.
Yeah, see, I'm more around like the 12-hour.
Yeah.
I think. I don't even know. But I'm nowhere near. Like, I just got the 3rd gym badge, so I'm not... I'm really far behind everyone else. But that's okay, because it's just fun to go through. And the online interaction stuff is so much better.
They finally did everything right. Finally.
You can battle your friends online. You can wonder trade, which is just you randomly trade a Pokemon away for something else, which is more fun than it sounds. I do that all the time. I'll catch a spare Pokemon I don't need just to wonder trade it and see what happens.
Yeah, same with me. I caught like 5 of the same Pokemon just to go wonder trade. What do I get? And I've gotten some really good things because of it too. I mean, I remember someone traded me a Chansey. Someone gave me a Charizard.
Of all things.
Of all things. And I've gotten a few of the starter Pokemon through that.
I got a... this was kind of funny, but on Halloween, somebody actually traded me a Punkabloom.
Oh, me too.
And then it evolved as soon as it got to me, so that was nice.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what it evolves into, but...
A Gourgeist.
Gourgeist, yeah. So it was so much fun. And yeah, Phoenix and I were able to sit at our houses and just go, hey, I need to trade this. All right, trade. Oh, that was kind of funny. You actually ended up trading me all the starters.
Mm-hmm.
So so he traded me 2 complete sets of starters, and then he could start his game, and I traded him back all the Pokemon that he needed. Which was really great because I'm just having so much fun with this game. Every time I sit down to play it, it's just like, and I'm taking my time. That's the thing. I don't want to rush through this because like the last couple ones I played, like I think it was White was the last one I played. I wanted to just rush through and get it over with eventually because it is more of the same. But this one is just so refreshing that you want to just...
You want it to last.
Yeah, you want to breathe it in. You want to just, absorb it and just have so much fun with it. I don't know how to explain it. It's great. It's amazing. It's fantastic. Pokemon's amazing. So there's my rant.
Hoorah. One only complaint, just by me, is I do feel the game is a bit easier than previous installments.
Oh, no doubt. They have that EXP share item they give you like right at the beginning.
Yep.
So all your Pokemon level pretty much evenly. I haven't blacked out once against anybody I'm fighting.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a great one to jump on. If you've never played Pokemon before, this is the perfect thing the perfect game to get into is either X or Y, I guess. Really great. Really great. Really fun. But yes, it is much, much easier than the previous Pokemon games. There's no doubt about that.
Especially when the starter Fennekin, I say, is the best starter ever because he is super effective against 4 gyms and one of the Elite Four.
So, yeah.
Yeah, just take that into consideration.
Yeah, he's Fennekin's probably the best Pokemon starter ever, period. Ever. But then again, you could always go with one of the other two if you know. But pick Fennekin. Just do it. Because they're awesome. Anyway, so yeah, that's Pokemon. And we'll just... Yeah.
Yep, that's it for me. You can go now.
Okay, Pokemon. So I bought this Pokemon game, and it's amazing. Let's see. What have I been playing? I haven't been playing much on console right now, just because I've been so busy. And to be honest, I only want to play one game, and I don't own it yet. So that's kind of a problem. I want to play Beyond Two Souls really, really badly. Mm-hmm. And I don't have it yet. So I'm gonna get it soon, but I don't have it now, so kind of bummed. Yeah, I don't know. Let me check my Steam list. Lots of Payday 2, obviously, because Payday 2 is awesome. Oh, we played Killing Floor, you and I. There was a Halloween challenge to unlock a new character. Mm-hmm. So that was a blast. Some Sonic Adventure 2 HD remake, or whatever you call it, Sonic Adventure 2, because my save file was lost when I reformatted my computer, so... Oh no, I have to play through my favorite game again.
Oh no!
So, having fun with that, and yes, I'm gonna try to get back to where I was, which won't take long. Yeah, not much else. Pokemon. Like, anytime I have some spare time, that's what I've been doing. Oh, there is one game I want to bring up, which is... Now, this is kind of out of the ordinary for us, but I'm going to talk about a mobile game for a minute. Which is a game I have on my phone called Super Monsters Ate My Condo.
You're welcome.
It's a puzzle game where you have this tower that's made up of different segments that are colored, and you have to swipe away the ones you don't want so that the colors match up and disappear. And you get power-ups and things like that. But the big thing about the game is there's two monsters always, one on the left side of the tower, one on the right side of the tower, that try to knock the tower over. And so what you got to do is you have to also try to keep the tower straight, or at least keep it from toppling over like a Jenga tower. And it's ridiculously fun because if you feed the monsters like the condos that you make, like the bronze and silver gold condos, they will actually give you abilities like point boosts and things like that, and slow down and all this. And then as you level up and clear stages, you get more condos. So there's cat condos, dog condos, there's bricks, or cinder blocks, I think. There's extra time condos, all these different things, and they all add up to be this just amazingly addictive game. If I am sitting at work for like 20 minutes on lunch, I will whip that out and play it. It's amazing. Yeah, we don't ever really talk about mobile games that much, but that is one that is absolutely hilarious. It's tons of fun. It's all themed in this cheesy, cartoony Japanese monster movie vibe.
It's kind of like a good old Japanese monster movie type thing.
Yeah, like old Godzilla or Gamera movies. It's but blown way out of proportion. Like, you know, it's way over the top, which is great for this game. Yeah, I've been playing that a heck of a lot, and I recommend it to anybody with an Android phone. I think it's on iOS as well, but I'm not sure because I have an Android. So, it's definitely on Android. Not sure about iOS. Check it later. Other than that, I went to Youmacon recently, which is a Japanese anime convention in Detroit, Michigan, which is where most of my money went, as well as most of my energy. Because I got back and I was exhausted. But it was loads of fun. I didn't buy any video games there. I was expecting to buy at least one game, but I didn't find anything. There were a couple import game tables that I found, but I was a little bit leery about buying anything from tables like that, because if I have a problem with the game, I can't just go back and return it. You know?
Yeah.
I didn't have any way to check that it worked. I mean, I guess I could have bought DS games because I had my 3DS on me, but you know, I was a little leery. That's all. But no, loads of fun. I don't know why I'm bringing it up, but that's just literally what I've been doing. And Pokemon. My God, the number of people I street passed. By the way, I finished every single puzzle. I'm done. I have every puzzle piece, at least until the next puzzle comes out. Every puzzle piece, I'm done. I'm good. I'm solid. Everybody was playing Pokemon. Everyone. Out of the hundreds upon thousands of people I probably ran into, every single person was playing Pokemon. It's incredible. I kind of expected it, but at the same time, it was still shocking. So if that tells you how popular Pokemon is, everyone was playing it. I'm trying to think of anything else I've been playing, but that's pretty much it. I haven't been playing a whole lot. This will be the last game, I swear. But Bleach Soul Resurrection on PlayStation 3. For some reason, obviously because I'm on an anime kick right now because I got back from Youmacon, I wanted to play something anime related, and that's what I had. So, yeah, loads of fun. It's a Dynasty Warriors style game with all the Bleach characters from the anime. You can choose between the English and Japanese voices, which is a giant plus for me because I'm a huge fan of the Japanese voices. Or at least that version of it. And it's a blast. Tons of fun. I don't know. You've played it. Mm-hmm. It's pretty simple. It's not that difficult, but it's...
If you're a fan of Dynasty Warriors and you like anime, there you go.
Yeah, it'd be something to try. Tons of characters to pick from, all with different abilities. They're all... It controls exactly the same as Dynasty Warriors. I mean, you know, you have a regular attack, a ranged attack, and special attack, and that's pretty much it. And then like an ultimate clear laser kill everything move or whatever. Mm. What do they call it in Dynasty Warriors? Musu? Musu? Okay. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Just the ultimate clear the floor attack, you know. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, loads of fun. Makes me really want to get back into Ni no Kuni, since that's anime related too. But yeah, so not too much. I've just been mostly working. And, yeah, so that's all that we've been playing. Two things I want to bring up real quick, which are video game related. One, the store that I work at has not yet gotten Sonic Lost World in, and it's pissing me off.
Being as big of a Sonic fan you are.
The game was supposed to come out before I left for Youmacon on the 28th, I think it was. Or no, it was the first of the... It came out at the end of October. And it's not in stock yet. But they do have a bunch of copies of the 3DS version. But they don't have any of the Wii U version. At all. Period. Which is really starting to frustrate me. Not that I really want to play it really badly. As we all know, the PS4 got released. I just want to throw that out there. I will be picking one up, but probably not for a long, long, long time. I don't have anything against Sony, obviously. I love my PlayStation 3, probably more than my 360. Actually, definitely more than my 360, because it has more games on it that I care about.
More games that aren't shooty bang bang.
Yeah, there's a better variety overall. Plus it has the Yakuza games. You can't argue with a console that has Yakuza.
No.
At least in my mind. So yeah, no, and for people who have been having hardware issues with it, I've heard that there have been a lot of problems, or I don't know how many problems, but people have been reporting hardware issues. I just want to let you know, my friend at work bought one, and it works. So, you know, feel free to take your shot if you really want to. Besides, it's under warranty. So the worst thing you gotta do is have Sony fix it. Which I know takes a while, and it's a little disappointing. And it doesn't happen with Nintendo consoles all that often. So, ha 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 ha. But, yeah, I do want one pretty badly, but I'm just I'm not in any rush to get one right away. I'll wait till they iron out all these hardware issues. I think... Oh, there is one other thing. There is a Kickstarter going on right now. I want to let people know this because I am a huge Sega Genesis fan, as everybody knows. It is a Kickstarter for a book. And it's like one of those anthology collections that companies put out sometimes. It's officially licensed by Sega, and it is a book called The Sega Mega Drive Genesis Collected Works. And it's a Kickstarter project to basically fund the printing of this manual. Right now, it is actually almost 200% funded. They only were asking 30,000 euros, which I don't know what the transfer rate on that is to US dollars, but I mean, it's not that bad. I backed it at the 30 euro level, which is about 50... With shipping, I paid about $56. Or will be paying, I should say, when it actually ships. But yeah, it has interviews with a bunch of people who worked at Sega back in the day. It focuses around all the major series that were on the Genesis, including some of the cult classics like Rent-A-Hero, Vector Man, Decap Attack. It looks to be just a treasure trove of content for Sega fans. And if you're a fan of the Sega Genesis or Sega in general, or even just retro gaming, it's not a bad price for a book like this. Phoenix can also attest, books like this are expensive, and that's not a bad price.
And plus, with the more money that gets donated, the more they add to it.
Yeah. The more money they get, the more pages they can make. So, get to it. Let's make this a trilogy. Let's make 3 books. Let's just... I don't know what they're going to fill it with, but I want everything. And like I said, it's officially licensed by Sega. So they're allowing these people into their archives to pull out all this information, pull out all these interviews, get in contact with all these people. So it's going to be a really... I hope it will be, but it looks to be like a really in-depth collection of things about the 16-bit gaming era and what Sega did with the Genesis against Nintendo. I mean, it's a little bit of an underdog story, and everyone likes underdog stories, and this just looks like a giant collection. It looks amazing. Just for a quick list of some of the people they're interviewing, excuse me if I get any of these names wrong as I whip through them. Naoto Oshima, which is the game designer for Sonic the Hedgehog. Yu Suzuki, who I don't need to say anymore. Yuji Naka. Yuzo Koshiro, who's the sound designer behind Revenge of Shinobi, Bare Knuckles, otherwise known as Streets of Rage. All the music in those series. And just the list goes on and on and on. One of the guys, this is interesting, he's the planner for Metalhead. Ryutaro Nanaka, which Metalhead was a Sega 32X game. So I'm really interested to hear what he had to say about that kind of thing. And the foreword is being written by the guy who created Earthworm Jim, whose name escapes me and I cannot find it. Where is it? I did read it here. This is gonna bug me. But anyway, just absolutely amazing book this is going to be. So if you guys are interested, I'm going to leave a link to the Kickstarter down below. They're probably just going to get one other person backing since nobody really listens to this podcast. By the way, if anybody listens to this podcast, comment or something. Ask us some questions. Let's get something rolling here. I do this for fun, but if you want to pay me, I'd take the money. Yeah, it's absolutely amazing, this collection here, and I'm just so excited for it. I know Brett, or Phoenix, you don't really.
I'm not a Sega fan.
Yeah, you're not a Sega fan like I am a Sega fan. I'm specifically a Sega Genesis fan. Mm-hmm. Saturn, not so much. Dreamcast, yeah, I'm a fan, but Not as much as the Genesis, because the Genesis was a lot of my childhood. So, I guess it's partially nostalgia that's making me freak out right now. But, yeah, check out their Kickstarter page. It looks really, really good, and back it if you feel like it. Oh, Dave Perry. There, I found it. Yeah, who worked on Earthworm Jim, Disney's Aladdin, and The Terminator. They're also going to talk to Trip Hawkins from Electronic Arts, or who used to work at Electronic Arts at the time. Yeah, a lot of other people. It's just going to be so much fun. And, okay, so that's it. Like I said, I'll leave a link below. So, that's everything for episode 26 of Welcome to Bonus Stage. At least I hope this is episode 26, or I'm going to have to just re-record that. Hold on. Yes, I was right. Ha! Take that. And
objection.
What do they say when someone says objection? How do they object to the objection?
Just objection.
Oh, they just yell objection back? Well, then objection! Oh, man. Alright, well. Anyway, I hope you guys had a ton of fun listening. I hope that,
Hope we didn't prattle on too long.
Yeah, I hope we didn't get off track too much and prattle on for too long. But then again, this is what this show's about. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this, and as always, I'm your host, Marauder.
I'm Phoenix923.
And we'll catch you guys on the next one.